Ladies and gentlemen, it has finally happened. We finally have a 2026 IndyCar schedule. I'm just going to quite frankly say it's not that bad. Like you can see it on screen. It's not that bad. Like, they fixed the beginning of the schedule. Like, honestly, I'm more mad about the end of the schedule than I am about the beginning of the schedule, which if you would have told me, I would have said that in early 24 or even middle of 2024. Heck, even in 2024, I would have said, you're crazy. There's no way I'm going to talk this positively about the 2026 IndyCar schedule. But it's gone from what's probably the worst professional motorsport schedule to I like it. Like, it's got some real improvement and exciting things to look forward to about the future. So with that being said, let's dive straight into the schedule with the opening race being St. Pete. Obviously, that's just a no-brainer to keep that as a season opener. It's got the vibes. It's got the race. I mean, St. Pete can throw down an absolute banger of a race. There's no reason for St. Pete not to be the season opener. It starts on March 1st, so you have the qualifying and practice session in February. So technically the season gets started in February, but the first race won't be until March. Make it look like Monaco, like what they did last year. Use the boats, make it look rich, make it look fancy. It's a must-see event. It's pretty much always a sold-out crowd. I went there once when I was younger in 2019. So, just St. Pete being the first race makes sense. Now let's talk about the second race of the year in Phoenix. Overall, super happy. Super important there's an oval before the Indy 500. The Indy 500 is not the first oval this year. Yay, that is good. Here's the negatives. It's a positive that's a doubleheader with NASCAR. What's a negative about it? It's not the same day as NASCAR. Okay, I was kind of hoping you ran the NASCAR race from 3 to 6-ish, and then you start the IndyCars at 7. I think that'd help the TV number. You can do a NASCAR, like say Kyle Larson wins, and you celebrate with him for 5-10 minutes, and then you interview the top 5, and then that's 30 minutes have gone by, and then you lead into the IndyCar pre-race show, and the crew switches over. I think that would have been really cool, and I think you would have seen a really good TV number, in my opinion, but it's not. They're racing on Saturday, and we don't even know if this is a night race. Xfinity Series might be the highlight for this event and get the night race, which would be super disappointing in my opinion. IndyCar has to make sure they are the night race on Saturday, and obviously these two events, like NASCAR and IndyCar, they wanted this to happen. Phoenix wanted this to happen. So they need to try and make Xfinity, IndyCar, and NASCAR successful. I think NASCAR is big enough you can run Xfinity at 3 and run an IndyCar at night. Now, I was talking to some people, and I said, what if you did an IndyCar and a NASCAR ticket, and if you buy a ticket, you get IndyCar and NASCAR? Well, I wasn't thinking at the time about Xfinity Series. Could you see an Xfinity ticket that also gets you an IndyCar ticket and vice versa? An IndyCar ticket that gets you Xfinity. You buy one ticket, it gets you both. You get an all-access Saturday pass, or an all-race day Saturday pass. I like that. I personally would rather see an all-weekend pass. So say you make it $225. Probably to go to a race to sit in normal seats $90 to $100. Say you just... So you could say the Xfinity Series is $90, $100, NASCAR $90, $100, IndyCar $90, $100. What if you make it $225? You get all qualifying, all practice, and all races paid for. Not a bad idea in my opinion. I do think they need to sell more than just an Xfinity ticket, an IndyCar ticket, and a NASCAR ticket. Because if they do that, then I'm terrified for IndyCar, quite frankly, because I feel like more people would go to NASCAR. I'm just saying. So I hope they do something with the tickets where it's either NASCAR might be his own deal on Sunday. You buy a Sunday ticket. I hope it's a Saturday ticket and a Sunday ticket, and then you have the option for an all-weekend ticket. And I hope the grandstand's at least 80% full. Obviously, from Indiana and people like this, I can't say go to Phoenix because, quite frankly, I'm not going to be in Phoenix. Middle of the year, school year, stuff going on. So we can't just fly out to Phoenix for the weekend. But your IndyCar fans that do live in Phoenix and New Mexico and Colorado and all the states that surround Arizona, go to Phoenix. Go watch it. Support. It's a 1-year deal. That's all Phoenix signed was a 1-year deal. Go see it. Hopefully it's a night race. Hopefully a lot of people go. hopefully it's a big deal. Hopefully it races. I know it's going to race well because we went there from like 2015 to 2018, 2019, something like that. We didn't race well, but IndyCar short ovals race sucked back then. This is going to be a good race because IndyCar races on short ovals absolutely slap now. It's going to be a good race. I'm just worried about people showing up, and I feel like the TV number is going to be good. I feel like they're going to advertise it how they did. If they did last year, I feel like St. Pete, quite frankly, will be about 1.5 million again. And since it's back-to-back weekends on an oval with NASCAR, you say Phoenix can't be 2 million. That's not to be a fanboy. That's me being legitimately realistic. Okay, let's move on. Arlington, March 15th. We're starting the year off with a triple header. Let's go. So, Arlington was announced, it might have even been 2024 at this point. I actually don't even know. But it was announced just such a long time ago, I kind of forgot about it. I'm going to be honest with you. But it goes around the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. It's our version of Miami. This is going to be really cool. Zach Brown has praised this. Other team owners have praised this, or team principals. And yeah, Arlington's going to be a big race. I think Arlington, I don't know if the TV numbers will be as big as Phoenix or St. Pete will be, but if those races in St. Pete and Phoenix slap, I think Arlington could be around another 1.5 to 2 million. I mean, seriously, like I genuinely am not just saying this. I do believe it. It's gonna be sold out. You go on Racer, and like it's like the Arlington GP tickets to sell at the top of like the articles, and then there it is at the top, and sometimes at the bottom. It's like the ad they put on there. So if Arlington doesn't sell out, it's a huge disappointment. It should sell out and have an easy TV number of 1.5 to 2 million. Yeah, I mean, Arlington's going to be a big deal. Be excited about Arlington if you're an IndyCar fan. And to wrap up March 29th, so not quite 4 races in a row. There's I believe, a week break. Between the 15th and 29th, okay, yeah, there's definitely a week break. You have Barber. I'm glad Barber's not in May. Barber deserves his own spot on the IndyCar schedule. There's no doubt about that. I would rather Barber had been the first weekend of April, though. I'd rather have a 2-week break than a 1-week break. And I'm only saying that because there's only one race in April, and that's Long Beach. And Long Beach, if you can't win the Indy 500, you want to win Long Beach, right? I know Long Beach had the lowest TV number last year, but that was because of the Masters. We're not clashing with that this year. Long Beach will be a big, big TV number. I think around 1 million to 1.5 million could be Long Beach. And I think last year, for some reason, Barber had 900,000. So who's to say Barber can't be around where Long Beach is at? And who knows? Maybe the IndyCar season when races would be so exciting this year, will just all be at 2 million plus. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? But probably not. But Barber, I'd rather have seen him April, but I can't complain. It's not in May, so Barber's good, and obviously Long Beach is good. Now, we don't know when, but the Indy 500 Open test will take place presumably after Long Beach. Considering it's the 19th, I assume it's going to happen somewhere in the 20s. My bet's April 27th, April 28th, something like that. Yeah, and then if they do that, then you can roll in from the April test. Everyone can kind of chillax a little bit. And then you have the Indy GP on May 9th. So obviously that means they're going to have the practice on May 7th and qualifying on May 8th. So you can basically have your Indy 500 garage set up in the April 20th range whenever that test happens. So that's real positive from keeping the crews happy. So Indy GP, May 9th, nothing to really say about it. It's kind of now like a highlight stamp on the IndyCar schedule, which is kind of sad. It's never going to leave. I'd rather have more Indy 500 track time, but it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about IndyCar racing. I'm not going to complain about races on the IndyCar schedule that are there to give us more races. So I guess I'm happy about that. The Indy 500, May 24th. A lot of people are expecting a clash with F1. Well, it's just like any other year, guys. F1's still going to race on the Indy 500. They used to race in the morning of Monaco. That should still be what's happening. I can't believe they took that away. But instead, they're racing Canada. And on a race article today, it released the F1 sprint races. And it said that, the CEOs of F1 and IndyCar tried very hard not to have a clash. And F1 has pushed the start time of Canada back 3 hours and 15 minutes. The Indy 500, I believe, will be starting at 12:45, and F1, I believe, is starting at like 4:45 or something like that. It gives us a 3 hour and 15-minute window to run the Indy 500. If the Indy 500 is not over when the lights go out in F1, there'll be about 10 laps to go. And I have a hard time believing if there's about 3-4 cars that can win the Indy 500 10 laps to go, you're turning off your TV to watch F1. I don't see that happening. Quite frankly, I could see F1 delaying its start by 20 minutes to let that race finish. It's so far away. Like, we're talking about May of 26. I could see IndyCar pushing the start time to, say, 12:30, 12:15 to give themselves 3 hours and 30 minutes or 3 hours and 45 minutes. 3 hours and 30 minutes, I think they definitely have the race finished. 3 hours and 45 minutes, 100% they have the race finished. So it's at 12:45 right now. Move it up to 12:15 if you feel pressure. Like, if you think it's going to be a yellow heavy race, move it up to 12:15. If you think you can get in 3 hours and 15, leave it the way it is. My bet is to leave it the way it is, but why not just push it to 12:15? It changes the start time by 30 minutes, but it gives you 3 hours and 45 minutes to run the race. So I think that's what they should do, but you can't complain about the Indy 500. And you got to be happy with F1, because F1 totally could have been like, nope, we're going to run at 12:45, you're going to run at 12:45, direct TV competition. They didn't do that, and I really appreciate that. So thank you, F1, for not ruining the Indy 500, and thank you, Indy 500, for not ruining F1. So, because both would have hurt. Both TV numbers would have taken a hit, and it would have been disappointing. Who's to say the Indy 500 can't be 10 million this year? I'm just saying. Who knows? Detroit, May 31st. A lot of you would like to see it in June, but hey, with the World Cup this year, you kind of got to get it in when you can get it in. So Detroit being the 31st, I'm not going to complain about. I wish it was Belle Isle, but it's the streets of Detroit. Once again, I'm not going to complain about that. I've already shared my opinions in past videos. June 7th, you have St. Louis/Gateway. This has not been confirmed if it's a night race or not. It has been confirmed that it is a night race, so let's go. Gateway at night, it's going to be a good race. Last year, it was probably one of the better races, if not the best race of the season. Gateway always produces an absolute banger, and I presume it's going to produce another banger this year. So Gateway at night, can't go wrong there. And then that was the June 7th, and then June 21st, Road America. Those are the only 2 races in June, and I prefer it that way rather than having 4 races in June. Because if the schedule stays structured like this, it gives you time, or it gives you opportunity to build races into the schedule, and we're not clashing with the World Cup, which is great. Don't clash with the World Cup. And like I said, it gives you a lot of room in April, June, and July to really add to your schedule, which is what I like about this schedule, is it really gives room to add. Now, on to July. We have July 5th, Mid-Ohio, 4th of July weekend. That's going to be America Heavy weekend. I'm happy about that. Mid-Ohio's kind of sucked the past couple of years, though. Hopefully that race is good, because then we might need to talk about Mid-Ohio's future. I know it's a staple in the IndyCar schedule, but if it's going to be boring, maybe we need to talk about leaving Mid-Ohio, because IndyCar might be outgrowing that track. But for now, it deserves a spot in the calendar, and it's got a good spot. And then this is one that I want to highlight and really talk about here is Nashville. So it's no longer the season finale. It's July 19th. Laguna Seca is the season finale September 6th. So essentially, those 2 places on the schedule have swapped. And here's why I think they've done that. So if you don't know, the World Cup on Fox, the final this year, which is insane. That's great. It's going to come on directly after the World Cup this year? Nashville. That's insane to think about. So the World Cup seriously the final could have about 1 billion people watching it. That's not an exaggeration. That is just true. You could legit have maybe I'm exact. Okay, like 100 million. I don't really know anything about soccer. Is it 100 million? Is it 80 million? You know what? I don't know, and I don't care. We're just going to say it gets 1 billion TV number. This happens once every 4 years. Soccer's the most famous sport in the world. It's the biggest game. Okay, a lot of people, that second that game's over, the losing team, like the losing country, they're going to turn it off. They're done. A lot of fans don't care to watch people celebrate. So say half the people turn it off to celebrate. Then half the people celebrate, and once that ends, they turn it off. But let's say for the quarter people, like say quarter of the people stay. IndyCar turns on. Let's say you don't do a big pre-race. Let's say you do a nice 5-10 minute pre-race. You get on, you get going, and you show an exciting race. Now, I know a lot of people are going to click it off, but who's to say you can't keep 2 to 3 million of those people that watch the World Cup and are like, whoa, what's this? Is this IndyCar? You could get a lot of Europeans. You could get a lot of, people from from America. Who's to say that Nashville can't be the biggest TV number this year? Who's to say Nashville can't get more views than the Indy 500? Now, I know that might sound crazy, or I'm just pulling that from nowhere, but it legit could. Like, if the World Cup gets the views that I think it does, I don't know. I know nothing about soccer. I've watched one soccer game, and well, guess what it was? The World Cup final last year. You could get average fans that watch soccer that don't know what IndyCar is to watch that. I'm just saying. You keep 2-3 million of those people. Say you get 500,000 to be fans. You just won 500,000 people. I think that's what they're looking to do with that. I think they swapped it with Nashville and Laguna Seca because Nashville is more of an exciting race. Laguna Seca is probably an Alex Palou snooze fest. I think Nashville probably second or third best race last year. So that's why they did that. Nashville's going to be exciting. Hopefully it's a sellout crowd. Honestly, if you're IndyCar, make the tickets ultra cheap. Get people there. Make it a sold-out event. And, yeah, just make it freaking crazy. It's 400 miles this year. They've upped the distance. Should have made it 500. I wish it could be under the lights, but just to go with the World Cup, they can't do that. We can't get it all our way. Maybe in 2027, it's the season finale under the lights. Who knows? Let's go to August now. August 9th, we have Portland. Great race last year. Great way to kick August off. Not complaining. And then Markham, the new Canadian race, replacing Toronto on a 5-year contract. Basically the new home of Canada. Hopefully it races well. It's a new street circuit. I suspect it will. And I'm just happy Canada kept its race on the calendar. Nothing to complain here. And then August 29th and 30th, the only doubleheader, and quite frankly a bit of a shock, was Milwaukee. But Milwaukee being a doubleheader is great. I suspect 2 sold-out crowds there. And I'm just happy about Milwaukee being a doubleheader. If you could pick any race to be a doubleheader, you go with Milwaukee, or if possible, St. Louis, but that's probably pushing it. So you go with Milwaukee, and I'm super happy to see it get its place on the schedule as a doubleheader. Probably 4-1 last year, because I suspect next year you won't need it to be. But this year, you needed it to be, and that's completely okay. And now the end of the season off in September 6th, Laguna Seca. I actually do believe this. This is a 1-year deal. You will not see Laguna Seca as a season finale again. I think that will go back to Nashville in 2027. I think you could see Nashville as a season finale, as a night race in 2027, as a 400-mile race. That's just my opinion. That's just me speculating, but I think you could actually see that. I think a lot of that switch had to do with the World Cup and giving the viewers from going to the World Cup to IndyCar an exciting race. And I wanted to talk about building. Obviously, D.C. didn't happen, Mexico City didn't happen, and Denver didn't happen, but we believe DC just wasn't fathomable enough to get a street circuit ready in a year's time. That's probably coming in 2027, and we believe Denver's coming in 2027. And let's say we get real lucky, and they get Mexico City. Say they land all 3 of those events. Well, then we'd assume they land all 3 of those events. Milwaukee becomes one race. Say you put, let's say you put Denver in April, and say you put Mexico City in June, and say you put DC in July. DC on the 4th of July weekend. Boom. June sometime in Mexico City, sometime in June, and Denver, let's say the 1st or 2nd week of April, which is why I'm not mad Barber isn't the first weekend of April, because I think it gives room for Denver to slide in there. So if that happens, you're looking at a 19-race schedule in 2027, and I think if that happens, this is not just me being a fanboy, I actually think they'd put Nashville as a season finale and swap it with Laguna Seca and make Nashville a night race. So I'm happy with this schedule. It's not perfect yet. It's good. It could be perfect in 2027. If they add DC, Mexico, and Denver, it's all of a sudden a perfect IndyCar schedule. And then you look at 2028, and you're at 19 races. The magic number is 20. Let's add one oval. Let's go to Richmond. Let's go to Kentucky. Let's go to Michigan. 2028, this is good. Next year could be great. 2028 could be perfect. There's a lot of room to build with this. I'm super happy about it, if you can't tell. And I'm going to try and go to races. Obviously, I'm going to the GP. Obviously, I'm going to Indy 500 both days qualifying. I'm going to Carb Day. I'm going to the Indy 500. I will not go to any races in March or April. I'm telling you that right now. Too far away. Too busy that time of the year. June, I could go to Detroit potentially. I could go to St. Louis. I could go to Road America. I could go to Road Ohio. I could go to all the races from the Indy GP to Nashville. I could potentially be at the Indy GP, Indy 500 qualifying, Carb Day, Detroit, St. Louis, Road America, Mid-Ohio, Nashville. Quite frankly, it all depends on how my channel does, but I could be at all those races. And I could potentially be at Milwaukee. Those are the races I could potentially be at. Logistically, I go to all the stuff during the month of May, and I go to at least 2 or 3 more races. That's what I'm hoping to do next year. I'm hoping for a big 2026 year. So thank you guys for watching. This has been a long rant, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. With that being said, see ya.